Kevin Feige is talking again. He's doing the rounds, and he says that he has a 5-year plan post-Endgame. And it doesn't include X-Men and Fantastic Four right now.
You said it does not.
It does not include, but I'm going to paraphrase. But here's the quote. Probably only when asked about the hypotheticals of X-Men and Fantastic Four and whether or not they've started to even develop them.
Who asked that? Frosty?
Let me
Sounds
get
like a Frosty
it's
question.
IGN.
Oh, okay.
And he says, probably only because, if you heard me say before, until it was all done, we literally couldn't do anything. And this is in reference of developing this.
Right.
They couldn't even put pen to paper. And I don't even know what the logistics are about talking about X-Men and Fantastic Four before the deal is closed.
Oh, this is shit.
So only because you've heard me say before, until it's all done, we literally couldn't do anything. So essentially, it's sort of day one now.
Well, here's the thing, though. Remember, when did they do that thing in Hollywood? I think it was 2015, or remember when they had the
big announcement.
And that's when they talked about Civil War and everything, and they had the big thing for the media to just kind of tell what the plan was. I wish they would do that again. It was a lot of fun. But one of the things that they said, they were talking about Spider-Man, and he said, Spider-Man, probably not, you're not going to see Spider-Man. They already knew that shit was going to happen. So he's not going to give you anything yet until it's locked down.
Listen, I can read between the lines here. He says, essentially, we're at day one, but during that time, we had built and fleshed out a 5-year plan. So, but during that time, we have built and fleshed out a 5-year plan, which we're heading up now. So the deal is done. So they can just start developing it now. And so he's basically just kind of, I think, managing expectations. And these things are going to be in development probably 2 years, 3 years.
Here's the question: Will Fantastic Four and X-Men be in Phase 4 of Marvel? That's what she said.
Both of them.
What's that?
Both of them.
One or two. You can pick two. You can pick one.
I think Fantastic Four
will be in.
I think Fantastic. Yeah, I think Fantastic Four, because they were going that cosmic route. They even hired James Gunn before all the stuff. Yeah. He was going to head up the cosmic universe of MCU, which included Captain Marvel. We're getting
the Eternals.
Fantastic Four, yes,
no X-Men for you.
I think X-Men might be a little bit longer of a development because I think there's more of a stigma behind it, and I think they're really going to take their time to get it right, like they did with Spider-Man.
There's a bunch of. There was like a new clip of Captain Marvel yesterday. I don't know if we're going to talk about it. But if I'm going to go anything, I mean, I guess Fantastic Four. Honestly.
Yeah, I say both.
You said both?
I think both. I think that...
In Phase 4.
Yes, but I think Fantastic Four first, and then you get hit with one X-Men movie by the end of Phase 4.
Or at the very least, a post-credit teasing it.
Right.
With the X-Men? Or with one X-Man.
It'll tie into the fact that like Riley said, the X-Men will be included in all this.
But I'm saying, you think we're going to see
a full-on movie?
Yeah.
I think it's very possible that by the end of Phase 4 we get at least one.
Yeah, I can buy that.
If it's a 5-year plan. Yeah, I think within 5 years.
They have a 5-year plan that probably included Doctor Strange to Black Panther, more Spider-Man, Eternals now that we see, Black Widow.
And they've been successful putting 2 movies out a year. Why wouldn't they continue
so
doing
we have those.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happening. And they are not going to make any announcements on any of this until after Far From Home.
Well, this is smart, though, because the point is that if it's not ready to go yet, don't just announce it, because this is what Star Wars did for certain movies and get bit in the ass. Don't just announce shit. Like, just make sure, first of all, that you have everything locked down. And then once it's locked down, then go into production and do it.
Do you think when they interview people for like these head roles, they're like, okay, give me your best Kevin Feige impression of how you would do this?
Right.
Because that's the gold standard, right? Yeah. It's if you come into the office, be like, hey, listen, we want another Kevin Feige. Tell me how you're going to be like Kevin Feige, because that's the only way to really go about this.
And, so the thing is, go ahead, Roxy, I had a thought you wanted to say.
Unrelated to that, though. I think that it was DC's biggest issue. As much as I enjoyed when they announced their slate, if you think about it, it was 2019 was a Cyborg, Flash movie, like their Green Lantern movie was slated. All the things that were slated, we cut. Justice League 2 was slated when they did their initial, 4 years ago, where they announced everything.
They didn't have the narrative yet.
And I personally come from a little different of a camp where I don't mind if things are announced to be in development and then they don't actually end up working out, because being in this industry, I know just because you say these are the things we're working on doesn't mean that they're happening, but I don't think you should attach a date to it then. You can say, here's our slate of things we're developing, and let the public know that, and then when it's solidified, that's when you say, here's when it's happening.
Yes, because those are two different things, as to where it's like the development slate, these are all the things that we possibly could do. then you get people excited. Oh wow, that might come out eventually, as opposed to a release date scheduled. Like that's what I'm looking forward.
Because in that movie, you think it's happening.
You think it's
the
happening.
cyborg movie is happening,
and you think it's part of
not.
the entire narrative of what's, and that's the difference. I mean, it certainly happened with Marvel also when they announced the Immortals, and that fell through, and then they turned it into the TV show or whatever it was,
which was a disaster.
It stunk to high heaven. Right?
It was one of the worst TV shows you'll ever see.
What was it?
Immortals.
The Immortals?
The one with Inhumans.
Sorry.
That's Inhumans. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, I never pretend to be.
Ewan Rand.
No, I saw
Yes, that's what it is.
Inhumans.
Yes.